Hi, two important items to think about this week. One, NVIDIA surpassed 4 trillion in market cap last week, and 4 trillion is really an astounding number. Put it in perspective, and I know we've talked about this in the past, but to put it in perspective, NVIDIA has a larger market cap than 6 of the S&P 500 sectors themselves. So larger than all the publicly traded utility companies, all the publicly traded energy companies, consumer staples. There's 6 sectors that are less than the size of NVIDIA itself. NVIDIA now represents 8.5% of the S&P 500, and it is the largest publicly traded company in the world. And again, the number is astounding. We have had this really nice tailwind with AI spending, which is surpassing $1.5 trillion globally. The market, that area of the market in the US has performed exceptionally well. But what we really need to start thinking about are some of the red flags that we see coming up. We just had Halloween on Friday, and I hope everybody had a wonderful Halloween. To tie that into what's going on in the bond market, we have a lot more zombie companies. And basically a zombie company is a company where their interest expense is greater than the revenues they're pulling in. And during October, there were another 100 companies that were designated as zombie companies. So we've gone through a period in 2000, 2001, where debt was very inexpensive and a lot of companies borrowed significant sums of money. Obviously, we saw interest rates spike up in 2022, and then rates have, because of inflation, rates have stayed relatively sticky. So we have the Fed cutting at the short end, but it's still relatively difficult for a lot of companies to borrow, which is why the private credit market did so well for a number of years. But now we're starting to see some cracks. And I mentioned in a previous video some companies that have kind of gone from close to par in the bond market to trading at pennies on the dollar. And now we're seeing more companies designated as zombie companies. So I am a little concerned about what's going on in the bond market, and it is a reason to be a little more cautious. Thank you so much.